Well, that's pretty much a broad overview of the way things played out in yesterday's market session. What are your expectations for the trading day ahead?
Well, yesterday we saw a lot of movement, especially in the banking sector. We had very large volumes trading with Equity Bank, Cooperative Bank. There's large positions being taken by the institutions on the equities market because there's essentially been a lot of liquidity. We've seen interest rates really plunge to as low as 2.6%. That's a 6-year low. So the equities market is becoming more and more attractive, and we're still going to see higher turnovers even than yesterday. And we could see more movement, like you said, on Kenya Power, as institutions are very interested ahead of the balance sheet restructuring.
Well, in the meantime, we've seen the European Investment Bank announce that it will provide nearly 24 billion shillings for upgrading of infrastructure projects in Kenya. I mean, looking at the cement players in particular, Alistair, how are they set to benefit from this infrastructure development? Because one would assume that it would have a ripple effect in terms of their own project pipelines moving forward.
Yeah, that's true. I mean, the cement sector is not the only one that will benefit, but they are poised to benefit quite a bit because infrastructure development is really heavy on cement, and cement production is definitely going to improve if we're going to see higher levels of infrastructure development in the country. The grant by the European Investment Bank is very positive, especially coming now, and the country is really going to greatly benefit from this.
Well, I would assume still early for the market to be reacting to that news, given that it takes quite a while for news like this to filter through and impact on actual share prices. But we had Athi River Mining in particular trade 1,500 shares at 132 shillings yesterday. It finished up 0.75% higher. It's not far off its all-time highs at this level. So let's take a look at some of the support factors it's enjoying at the moment.
Yeah, that is true, but you'll realize Athi River Mining has been performing quite outstanding, even aside from the other cement manufacturers. And once Lafarge divested from Athi River Mining, there was a lot more positive sentiment in the company, because in the past there was a lot of worry in the conflict of interest that may have existed with one player having a large stake and a large say in all three listed cement companies. So that could be a factor as well.
Well, looking at the others, I mean, we had Bamburi Cement trading pretty flat yesterday. Portland firmed close on 1% as well. Out of those three major players within that space, which would be the stock pick for you?
I would still go with Athi River Mining if you asked me. I'm very positive about Athi River.
Well, in the meantime, as we mentioned, the European Investment Bank also investing heavily in power. Within that space, you highlighted, as I did earlier, KPLC seeing a nice uptick yesterday, and some emphasizing that a close above the 200 shilling mark will signal more gains for this power transmitter moving forward. What's your view there?
Well, Kenya Power, it looks fairly low valued even at 200 shillings. Their earnings per share for the last financial was at about 40 shillings per share. So currently it's trading at a PE of about 5. That's fairly low when you compare it with the rest of the stocks on the market. It's gained substantially from earlier in the year when it was trading at about 140. But we can still see some upside on that counter, and I believe that is also informing the decision for investors to move into this counter.
Well, of course, the European Investment Bank is just one development financier operating in Kenya. In the meantime, Beijing is another major financier of infrastructure projects, such as the ongoing construction of the road links in the country. I mean, looking at China, though, from a different angle and the way it's set to impact Kenya's economy, consumers may be headed for a period of pricing turbulence as the economy adjusts to a much stronger Chinese currency, whose peg to the dollar has been an anchor against global inflation. What kind of impact are you foreseeing there?
Well, it's correct that there's a possibility that we could see possibly higher pricing on imports from China, including all the services that they are providing to us, especially seeing as they have officially unpeg the yuan from the US dollar, and that will now allow the yuan to really adjust to market demand and supply. So if the yuan strengthens substantially, we could see much more expensive imports from China. Mm-hmm. We are a net importer anyway, and that could have a slightly negative impact.
Well, of course, that is an interesting development that we're going to have to see unfold, because we know that imports have also provided a strong competition for local manufacturers operating in the region. It also means Chinese companies can buy other things too, including foreign companies, and Kenya would present viable opportunities. They're talking about buying opportunities, making headlines. Safaricom seeks to buy 2 local ICT firms. Run us through that and some of the detail that's emerged on that front, Alistair.
Well, Safaricom, as you have noticed in the past 1 year, has really switched from focusing on phone lines and telephony into data, which is where it sees a very strong future. And it's very correct in that, and it's positioning itself very well, especially with 3G and very high-speed internet. It's really going to benefit substantially from these acquisitions, which are very strategic. And that will be a counter to watch going forward, especially with these acquisitions. We don't know what they have in store up ahead, but they made a lot in their last financial year from data provision, and it looks like there's a cash cow there.
Has there been any market reaction yet in terms of share price movement?
As of yesterday, no, but we should be watching that very closely today. There was a very good demand at the 575 level at the close of the trading session yesterday, compared with the supply at 580. So we could see slight upward. The only unfortunate thing with Safaricom right now is that the dividend that was announced earlier this year is going to be payable in December. That's very far. But aside from that, their positioning is very good for them.